When things look dark, it's what I think then. It's what I believe then. When I'm feeling my emotions are going wrong, what am I doing on the inside of myself? Jesus Christ, you live inside of me. Take my mind off those emotions. Put it on, Jesus, you live inside of me. If you're very, very ill, you can think, if you're too weak to talk, the power of the resurrection life of Jesus is going into every cell in my body and raising me up. It's what you think. It's who you are. It's the attitudes. And we have to form them when life is going well. When you get born again, a revolution occurs. It occurs in our thinking. Because most of us have thought a bit stupid before we get born again. We've all thought ungodly things before we get born again. About most things. About ourselves, about money, about things, about sexuality, about stuff. All sorts of stuff. We think ungodly things. And then Jesus comes in. Right into the middle of all that thinking. A revolution takes place. Sometimes the revolution is so great that some people just get bombed out. And they just think, man. But the revolution comes in. Romans 12:2 calls it transformation comes. And if I will start to think like he wants me. Mind you, Jesus is kind. He's good. When I got saved, I truly thought my only problem was that I swore. And I thought, when I get rid of swearing, I'll be okay. I reckon I can handle that. And when I got rid of swearing a few weeks later or whatever, well, it cut down dramatically anyhow. I made a heck of a good progress in a few weeks. I thought I was doing extremely well. I noticed I had one other fault. I hadn't noticed it before. I thought I was a good bloke. I'd never rip off my mate. I'd never steal from my mate. I stole from other neighbours. I stole the cattle. I had people preach. I sat under one bloke, he preached, you got to make restitution. Very good thing. You steal the boss's hammer, give it back to him. I thought to myself, I've pinched that many cattle, I could never give them back. Wouldn't have a hope. I got heaps of them. One bloke, I found out he was into our country. We had a big property and he had a smaller property. And he got into our place, about 3 or 4 miles he came into our place, and he was mustered, of course, and he took our cattle back to his place. So I took a group of stockmen with me. We went at least 7 miles into his property. I mustered hundreds. And I took all the cows. Our property went 70 miles down the Mary River. We're a fairly big place. I took them all 70 miles from his place and let them go. And then when they had calves, I branded them. Ungodly. Ungodly. And then Jesus came in. He brings about a transformation, a revolution in how you treat your employees, in how you treat your boss, in how, whether or not you take an extra 5 minutes every time you go to the toilet. Or if you take morning tea and you take half an hour to have it, or if you're allowed quarter an hour. It depends. It revolutionizes. Hard, isn't it, that you've got to actually work? Do I allow a revolution? I'm born again. I'm going to reflect Jesus in the workplace, in my work, in my attitudes to work, and all this sort of thing. The whole of my life is affected by my thinking and my attitudes, my identity, who I am. Well, I'm a man who will believe in hard work, believe in working, believe in putting in the hard yard. Somebody said the difference between success and great success is 10% more work. I think they're fairly right. Pretty much right anyhow, as long as you do it properly, I guess. Most of us grow into Christian thinking. Rarely do we suddenly become perfect. A few of you might have, but rarely. Most of us, gradually we change. And the change keeps taking place till we go to heaven. And there it'll be completed. In a moment, the twinkling of an eye. Thank God for that. It depends a lot on the type of teaching we sit under, the books we read, the tapes we listen to, the friends we form. If you have all ungodly friends, you're in a dangerous position. Develop some godly friends, for you'll be like the company you keep. The old saying, birds of a feather flock together, is fairly true. So develop some Christian friends. If you say, Clark, I don't know any Christian friends, well, stay for lunch after church. Sit down at a table. Get into a table. Don't be shy. You'll find people here basically very friendly. And just say, look, I don't know many people. Do you mind if I sit in your table? My name's Clark. What's yours? If you're not bold enough to do that, see one of the pastors and say, look, I don't have any friends. And let us introduce you to a table of people. But don't just sit out by yourself all the time. Become part of the family where friendships can affect our life, our thinking, our attitudes. Absolutely. The Holy Spirit is our teacher, and John 14:26 tells us that. But the Comforter, who is the Holy Spirit, when he comes, he'll teach us all things. And it is certainly just a wonderful thing to have the Holy Spirit as our teacher. It gets into our thoughts, gets into how we treat each other, our wife, our husband, our children, our friends. It gets into all of that. Young people, if you're the age group that you're now starting to look for a husband or a wife, or you're starting to think, well, this is a lovely looking girl or a good looking guy, I'll get to know him a little bit, or her. Find out these sorts of things. How does he or she treat their parents? That's likely how he'll treat you. Find out whether or not he treats you well. If it's a man and you're a girl, does he treat you special? Or does he just treat you ho-hum? If he treats you ho-hum, give him the flick. Quick. Because he sure is not going to treat you any better after he marries you. He'll treat you the best while he's trying to win you. Is he mean or lousy? I didn't say, is he careful with his money? But is he mean or lousy? Does he or she try to control you? If they want to control you, give them the flick. Do they want you to grow and be your best? Will they be a mate? If you end up marrying and having children, will your husband or wife help your child get to heaven? Or if they follow the man you chose, will they end up in hell? That is an eternal sorrow to you. If they copy the man you're going to marry or the wife you're going to marry, will they end up gambling and drinking alcohol? Will they end up going to the sports instead of church on a Sunday? Because most likely boys will copy their dads. He'll have a powerful influence. So if you're going to marry somebody, remember, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my life. If you're a girl, I'm going to wash his socks for the rest of my life. Think about it. Someday he might lose all his hair and his stomach will fall out. Most of his teeth might fall out. Do I really love him?